Hello, everyone, and
Hi.
welcome to the 21st MTM and LLTM and the first virtual expo from MTM and LLTM. And I look forward to a scintillating panel discussion that we have here today on navigating MICE in the new norm. We have one of the most star-studded panel that I have seen before because of the kind of energy that everybody brings to the table. And we look forward to everybody enjoying this discussion that we have here today. Before I introduce our panelists, I want to just put in a few words on navigating MICE in the new norm and where we are today and why this panel discussion with the Singapore Tourism Board is being set up and shared with all our many viewers who are out there listening in. The reason we have taken up this particular panel is because all of us are concerned with MICE and we are all involved in the MICE business, and MICE as well as leisure, as well as any kind of travel, is going to be heralded with some kind of a solution to the coronavirus. So we are currently in the transition phase, and from here, we look forward to resuming, inclusive of COVID currently, resuming proper business in terms of travel, MICE, leisure, luxury, in whichever form you want to take it. As soon as the vaccine is absorbed and distributed for mass vaccination in the public. And so I think this would happen somewhere around mid-2021, as far as I can figure out from what we hear from reports. And then how MICE is going to take shape in the new normal, which will be post the vaccine. So how do we go forward, and how are we doing it currently, because you can't have a gap. So Singapore in particular has been a leader in the countries which have got a control over the virus and has resumed events. So we see Singapore as showing us the way in how this can happen and how they are bringing in the resumption of MICE. So listen in, everyone, and we are going to shortly begin with all our panelists sharing their views. They are thought leaders, and all of them know what is happening on the ground and they are hands-on. So let me start. It is my pleasure to introduce Raymond Lim, Area Director, North and East India, Singapore Tourism Board. Raymond, hi.
Our partners, if you know live.
I have Jacqueline Lowe, Director, Sales, Business and Channel Development, Sentosa Development Corporation. Hi.
Hi.
We also have Om Pradut, Managing Director, Phase 1, Events and Entertainment Private Limited. Hi, Om.
Hi.
And we
Hello,
have
everybody.
Kaushik Sinha, the Group Vice President, CSR Communications, Marketing and Admin at Magma FinCorp Limited, Calcutta.
Hi everyone.
Kaushik.
Hi everyone.
Pleasure. It's a pleasure to have everyone here with us. And I will give a very brief introduction to each person here for our viewers. And while each person has far more than what I would briefly share, please remember that they are multifaceted, experienced people, and there will be far more in their portfolio than what we have, what I'll be telling you a little bit here now. So starting with Raymond. Raymond has been based in New Delhi from September 2019, so he knows India very well. He oversees the board's brand campaign effort in India, and he ensures that Singapore has top of mind recall amongst the Indian visitors when they select a destination. And Raymond has been with STB since 1997. He's handled various portfolios. He has pioneered, in particular, I want to mention this, he has pioneered the establishment of STB operations in Indonesia in 2003. Under his leadership as area director, Indonesia, the Indonesian market consolidated its position as Singapore's top visitor source market. We want Raymond to have that happen here in India as well. Raymond has also received the National Day Award, the Long Service Medal in 2015, and National Day Award Public Administration Bronze in 2017. So he's a highly decorated officer as well.
Thank you so much.
I would also like to introduce Jacqueline briefly. Jacqueline Lowe has been in the industry for more than a decade and currently heads the Sales, Business and Channel Development Department at Sentosa Development Corporation. She runs a team of 50 people that covers, among other things, the international leisure travel and MICE business. Jacqueline has been very busy driving Sentosa's sales strategy in the international markets, as well as pivoting and rescoping her team's functioning in the new operations environment. So this includes product packaging. This includes curation of guided tours, piloting MICE resumption, and setting up a center for new business needs. These are things that we all require. I also want to mention that Jacqueline loves India, as her kurta will tell you. That's come from India, gentlemen and ladies. From the events industry, we have Om Pradut. He's the Managing Director, Phase 1, Events and Entertainment, Private Limited. Om is well known in the events industry. He runs a 25-year-old experience management agency, and it has already set various benchmarks in the industry. Phase 1 has strategically focused on creating and executing international experiences across Europe, USA, Asia, Southeast Asia, and the Middle East for niche corporate clients. Through his continuous engagement with convention bureaus across the world, he has been in the forefront in his networking with MICE. In his recent venture, which I'm sure Om is most proud of, it's in collaboration with a consortium, and it's an $18 million project of a world-class experiential and entertainment destination near the Bangalore airport. Oh, it's at the airport, actually. It's not near the airport. So welcome. Oh, Kaushik is my last panelist in introduction, but he's not the least, as everybody knows. Kaushik is the Group Vice President, like I mentioned earlier, Communications, Marketing, CSR and Admin at Magma FinCorp Limited, Calcutta. In his current role, Kaushik leads Magma's brand marketing, the public relations, media outreach, the corporates, as well as the, yes, I mentioned the award-winning Magma CSR projects. He spearheads the corporate services and infra development schemes. Kaushik's work has been awarded at various forums, both Indian and international. He has been recognized as one of the 100 most impactful CSR leaders and a marketing influencer by CMO Asia. And he regularly speaks at large industry forums and recognized as a thought leader in MICE. So he is both a doer as well as a thought leader. So that is our introduction. It's a fabulous panel. And we will start off now with the panel discussion, Navigating MICE in the New Norm. And we start with Raymond Lim. And it will be seamless. Raymond will speak first, and then we will continue with each panelist sharing their thoughts from their perspectives so that all you viewers can hear and understand and then, absorb all the discussion points that are being shared here today. So Raymond, Singapore is the leader in the resumption of MICE activities. Going forward, what initiatives will STB enhance to maintain this position in 2021?
Thank you, Thank you, Kamal. Good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure of STV to be speaking at this inaugural virtual MTM. Right. Just now, Kamal was mentioning that I have been in India, or posted to India in New Delhi since September 2019. But sad to say, I have not seen enough of India. I have not worked enough in India because in March this year, I had to return to Singapore. So I'm sad to say, really looking forward to getting back to India to do my work in a more effective manner. Right. As you know, 2020 has been a very challenging year on many fronts. Travel restrictions, as well as advisories to defer or cancel events, have become very inevitable for a lot of business events and to take a backseat in the current global climate. But nevertheless, planning and preparing for the future must start immediately. So in this respect, on the economic front for Singapore, we have actually moved towards a safe and calibrated reopening of our business operating environment and also resuming it in a very sustainable manner. We are also taking a very cautious view on reopening our borders with the necessary safeguards in place. There are already some travel arrangements that are in place. 5 are unilateral with countries including New Zealand, Brunei, Vietnam, Australia, and China, while the rest are reciprocal green lane arrangements to facilitate essential business travel. And most recently, the air travel bubble between Singapore and Hong Kong, which will allow for travel without quarantine, will commence on 22nd November. And the last I heard, the air tickets have all been snapped up, even though the airfare has increased by almost 40%. So this is very good development for Singapore. And in July 2020, the Singapore Tourism Board announced the Safe Business Event Framework, which allows events to take place for up to 50 attendees, based on a very strict safe management measures. This is a very important milestone in our local MICE industry's journey to resuming business. And this framework takes into account an event attendees' entire end-to-end journey, creating a safe environment for meetings and providing the attendees the assurance from arrival and up to 14 days after the end of the event. This framework was created, of course, within consultations with the industry, and is aligned with international best practices. It also arises from reflections and lessons learned over the past many months when businesses in Singapore's MICE sector come together to conceptualize and reimagine what a safe event would look like in the future. So this framework was piloted on 2 hybrid events, and this was followed by our decision in September this year to announce that we are now prepared to accept and assess applications to pilot MICE events of up to 250 attendees. Previously was 50, so we have upped the capacity to 250 attendees. The first MICE pilot event was a scientific conference that took place in late October at the Equators Hotel, Resorts World Sentosa, with the presence of about 50 physical attendees and about 200 virtual attendees from across the world. The attendees were extremely pleased with the event and even enjoyed a social tour, a networking program, as well as a banquet dinner. So complementing the safe management measures is the Singapore Clean. We call it the SG Clean program. It is a whole government effort to rally businesses and public to uphold marks of excellence that indicates that our businesses adhere to high level standards of environmental public hygiene on their premises. There are now more than 27 establishments, including MICE venues, that are already been certified. So this safe resumption of MICE events require close partnership and coordination between both the public and the private sector stakeholders. The Alliance for Action on Enabling Safe and Innovative Visitor Experiences, which is an industry-led initiative, with government-supported coalitions was convened to look at three main areas. Number one is to reimagine large-scale. Now we are going up to large-scale MICE events and trade show formats from the smaller scale ones previously during the initial relaxation of MICE events. And number two, to ensure that we can create safe leisure itineraries to support the MICE events. And the third part is to deploy digital enablers to deliver a more safer, a more seamless end-to-end visitor experience. This alliance has developed a prototype for safe trade shows and exhibitions. This prototype will be tested in a few upcoming trade shows, starting with a new event in November called the Travel Revive. In order to give inbound travelers further peace of mind, the industry is working with government agencies to develop a travel insurance product for inbound travelers to cover critical COVID-19 related expenses. So we're all very excited with Travel Revive, as this will be the first business event with the participation of foreign delegates and will possibly be the world's first. We are very looking forward to the success of Travel Rave, because this will then set us up for more physical events to come in 2021. And I must say that, well, we are actually doing things quite well, and the result shows for himself. Yep.
Thank you, thank you. In fact, I had read about Travel Revive. It's to take place in 25th, 26th November, am I right?
That's right, 25th, 26th.
Yeah. So is this, what kind of an event is this?
Travel Revive is a new event that we put together and powered by ITV Asia and STB. This event will bring international delegates and businesses together to exchange ideas, bridge knowledge gaps, and reimagine the future of travel. The show will trial newly developed prototypes for safe business events, number one. Number two, safe itineraries. And number three, to introduce digital enablers in Singapore. So this prototype will provide delegates with a degree of interactions which delegates are normally very accustomed to in a regular trade show setting, but now in a more safer, in a far safer way, which will then minimize infection risks. This is a 2-day travel trade show. It will feature conferences, exhibitions, as well as opportunities for one-on-one buyer-seller appointments. It will also be complemented by virtual interactions, which allow a wider audience to connect with the regional travel businesses. There are some creative solutions that are being prototyped to enhance the health and safety for the delegates, and also using digital enablers to allow participants to experience events safely. Foreign attendees. This event is special because we will bring in foreign attendees to this event. So foreign attendees will also be required to use an app, we call it the Trace Together app, to facilitate contact tracing. And some of the solutions the prototype will also adopt include innovations such as touchless technology, automated registration kiosks, as well as safety measures like plexiglass shields in exhibition booths and meeting pods. And of course, one of the key feature of most trade shows is the leisure R&R program that we're very familiar in the past. So now, safe leisure itinerary will also be trialed at Travel Revive, with attendees being gathered in designated smaller groups with safe distancing measures. So moving ahead, as more insights and data are being obtained through pilot events, Singapore Tourism Board will work with the MICE industry to adapt our protocols and solutions for safe business events. And of course, these pilot events and solutions will help Singapore lead the way as a safe, trusted, and innovative destination for MICE events.
Right. Thank you so much. I think a lot of our audience would be looking in to see, what are the new practices being adopted at Revive. And I think that would also be a front runner you know, in actually showcasing each thing and in, actually utilizing those formats. So,
See, in today's world, in previous, in the past, we used to compete, right? Everybody compete with another event. Event organizers compete, event organizers, national tourism organization compete with each other. I think in the new norm, I think the new competition is collaboration.
that's right.
We need to continue to learn from each other, to share best practices and best of class guidelines, so that together we can all move quicker and faster and more effectively. So all the more, a lot of collaborations is required to ensure that the entire value chain, there's no broken links. Yes.
Thank you, Raymond. My last question is what all our agents and our corporates and the MICE area are looking for. They want to know what kind of all-round support does STB offer for the MICE organizers?
Firstly, India is a very important key source of business traffic to Singapore, particularly for the meeting and incentive travel segment. So in STB, we have 4 programs that we have customized to meet the needs of the entire ecosystem of the corporates, the event planners and intermediaries, and lastly, the delegates themselves. And these programs are also customized for different group sizes. The schemes basically are catered specifically to help them to plan better and pitch more confidently should Singapore be the destination of choice. And all these schemes, one point to note is that these are offered before the decision on destination selection is made. And this is typically during the bidding stage. And of course, the scheme aims to influence decision making so that the scheme can be more effective. And my shout out to all MICE intermediaries, event planners and corporates who are planning their trips. The moment you are thinking or you have a lead on a prospective group, whether at the RFP stage or at the preliminary stage, please approach STB and give us the heads up so that we can advise you early how the various schemes can be activated to help you plan better. Just now I mentioned there are actually 4 schemes. The first scheme are catered to small groups. We call it the Singapore Incentive and Reward Scheme. In short, we call it the INSPIRE. This scheme offers small groups a choice of free experience. So basically, Singapore Tourism Board, together with our tourism establishments, we have curated a menu of more than 60 experiences in Singapore. These experiences range from dining options, event venues, attraction admissions with extra benefits, tours and group bonding activities. So for the smaller groups with a minimum size of 20 pax, the group can qualify this scheme, and the group can actually choose from the 60 experiences, one experience which will be offered to them free of charge. So this program is also applicable if the group has a fly cruise program, which means they are all going to Singapore and going on board a cruise program for meeting for M&I, meeting incentive with a minimum 1-night stay in Singapore. We have also further enhanced this INSPIRE schemes for the Indian market by offering now 2 free experiences, increasing from previous 1. And the validity of this scheme is until 31st December 2021, next year. So I talk about the first scheme, the INSPIRE scheme. It's basically free experience. The second scheme is called the Business Event in Singapore scheme. In short, we call it the BEIS. And this scheme caters to large groups, bigger group size, offering them financial support to the corporate to help them improve the program. This is catered for big groups of up to size, a minimum size of about 250 pax and above. And the quantum of monetary award depends on factors like how the delegate profile, the scale of the event, the duration of the event, and the program content. We also require a 2-night stay in Singapore. And to further make the scheme more attractive, we are now also offering one free experience under the INSPIRE scheme, which are offered to augment the monetary award. Just like INSPIRE, the scheme is valid until 31st December 2021. So we have a scheme that offer experience. We have a scheme that offer financial support. And then the third scheme, we call it SMAP, or Singapore Mines Advantage Program. Now, this is a bundle of value adds and benefits that various Singapore stakeholders have come together to offer to the delegates themselves. And this scheme is over and above the first scheme, Inspire, and the second scheme, BIS, should the group qualifies. This value adds includes benefits offered by Singapore-listed airlines, the Changi Airport Group with their Changi Airport vouchers, and also complimentary admission tokens by Sentosa, and other ancillary services offered by JetKey, or special check-in services for commercially important people. Also include discounts by ride-hailing provider Grab for intra-city rides, and also purchases of SIM cards. So that's the third scheme going out to the delegates. The last scheme is the most important for travel agents, because this is a reward scheme to the travel agents. That means we reward the travel agents for bringing groups to Singapore. So the agents may accumulate their Singapore-bound groups and claim the reward after they have reached 50 packs. So after 50 packs, they can claim for a reward from a Singapore Tourism Board. So this program is open to all MICE agents and event planners in India who are actively pushing for the Singapore destinations. So basically, the four schemes, but we are also recognizant that when travel resumes, the MICE group size will be small, and there might be a little bit of inertia to attend business events overseas for a start. Our schemes and support will be further adapted to the market needs to ensure that we stay competitive and nimble.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Raymond. That was very, very comprehensive. And I think that was what was very much needed. Jacqueline, it's my pleasure now to ask you your thoughts. Yeah, we'll start with the Sentosa Development Corporation being one of Asia's leading attractions and Singapore's premier island resort. How do you feel the themed attractions, including the golf courses, etc.? How do you think SDC is reaching out to the India MICE market?
Yeah, I think, first of all, good evening, everyone. Very happy to be on this call and this panel. Interesting topic, really. Sentosa is a very known destination for our Indian market, and we have been in the market for many years. And when we had this COVID hitting us, it is a shame because we know that we cannot welcome all our favorite Indian guests for quite some time, and we haven't stopped. I was just sharing with many partners that my team hasn't stopped running. In fact, we are sprinting more than ever because we need to get ready. How do we get ready for the different markets? In fact, a lot of webinars have been going on since the country kind of go into a lockdown situation. That's how we try to reach out to the various markets beyond India, actually. What is beneficial for Sentosa team is that we actually were in a very advantageous spot because the team gets to talk to every market and learn humbly how every market is working on resumption in their event spaces. Through all these webinars, right, we actually learn so much, from every trade partner, from every STB-led webinars that we attend. Every country seems to have some form of differentiation in terms of how they view safety, how they view safe measurements when they think about when the market reopens and when the borders reopen. So our reach out has been so beneficial for us in terms of that. Of course, as we hear more and more from all these webinars, we are also starting to get really creative when we engage the markets, because when you do webinars for 3 months, right, looking at the screen and imagining that you're talking to a live person, you start to get creative. So on the island, how do we get creative? And my team, I have to give it to them. They are a really creative bunch of people. They started to do live streaming. Yeah, the island is very outdoor, so it's very safe. We have a lot of places, and gems on the island where we can bring our overseas guests almost virtually and be present with us in the outdoors and on the beaches. And pre-COVID, we actually received many MICE groups from India who are, like favorite patrons of our beach clubs. Yeah, and to name one of the very successful case, we started to go into the India market in a bigger way to get incentive groups for India. And we, mooted a package with Ola Beach Club. So it is a combination of indoors, outdoor, poolside, the beaches. So that combination has been a great success. And now that we are in this situation, we can't welcome the guests right away, we are already working very closely with all the beach clubs. Particularly, I think during this period, we have a new beach club that has opened, which is the Rumors Beach Club. It's not a rumor, it's real. So it's just called Rumors Beach Club. And this beach club actually has a very good layout for MICE. And what we have done with these beach clubs, right, is really re-looking, at their spaces and ask ourselves, ask our partners locally and overseas, what makes sense as a safe event to be held at the beaches in Sentosa. What kind of preparation do we need? Yeah, so what have we done, right? The team came together with our island partners. As Raymond says, right, partnership, collaboration is really key to resumption. We really can't do it on our own. And as Sentosa, what's our strength? Our strength is really, we have an array of experiences and services that we can put together, though run by different island partners. But I think in this current situation, we do see that our partners are getting very collaborative, partnering one another to see how their various offerings can come together to create that great experience, at the same time being very, very safe. So the team got together with the island partners, and start to think, okay, if the guidelines says that we can only receive 30 packs, we can only receive 50 packs, 100, 120, or even up to 250. What will be important for our in-market event organizers? I think fundamentally, we must put ourselves in the shoes of the organizer. We can't just assume we know everything. We really need to know, and every market, as we learn, the EOs have different expectations. The EO have different concerns and different worries. And our job is really to listen. We need to listen intensely what's important for them, what's important for their clients. If we cannot assure them that Sentosa can do that part, which is to give you the assurance that you can have your events safely on the island, be it, having a safe event in a hotel ballroom, where all the government measures are being put in place, adjourning, after your meetings and conferences to an outdoor venue, without massive cross mingling, which is not allowed at the moment, and at the same time allows, safe networking to take place. I think everyone is looking forward to meeting people face to face, right? And that's what we have been putting ourselves at the forefront, is to understand the ground situation, not just from a Singapore context, but from an in-market context. What's required of them? From the questions that we learn from the webinars that we attend, we take heart and we take notes of, what is needed. Yeah, so packages that are catered with safe management measures are carefully put together. without compromising, the unconventional experiences that Sentosa can bring to every delegate. And we want every delegate, when they return to Sentosa, that it has to be something to celebrate, after being locked down for so long. The minute that you can travel out, the minute that you come to Sentosa, it has to be a memorable one. Yeah, so we have to make sure that that happens. So tapping on the schemes that STB rolled out, we hope our trade partners will be very happy and glad that we are in all those schemes. Yeah, so like Raymond says, inspire free experiences. We have the beach experiences, we have the team building experiences, that we are putting in place. But carefully looking again at what safe management measures we should put together to ensure that the experiences are not compromised and delegates can still enjoy their experiences when they return to Sentosa. So I think that's really key. And as we prepare for proposals, inquiries to come in, I think putting the EOs ourselves in EO shoes, what will be one key thing? Visual FAMs are not possible at the moment, right? The familiarization trip, they cannot fly down, and I think visual is important. What my team has been very busy working on is how can we ensure that we provide a live view of our venues, give them assurance that the floor plans meet all the safety measurements, to meet the guidelines. So those proposals, I think, will be crucial when the market resumes for any events to take place, particularly in Singapore, because we do have to submit for approvals for any events to take place. So we want to make sure that it's a hassle-free process for our EOs. I think is to help everyone navigate so that the stress is taken off planning, and we are really very happy to find any ways to help our organizers and our corporate clients to ensure that Sentosa remains very close to their heart, be it for business or for leisure. We really want our delegates to come back over and over again. Yeah, so these are really the key MICE related ones. And one of the things that I thought was interesting is because of the situation that we are in, we have become very creative. We have become even more innovative, in terms of how we do things. Yeah, things that we thought we couldn't do it in a short time can actually be done like almost, with a snap of a finger. Yeah, is that willpower to resume business, to help businesses recover, that drives us to think innovatively. So for example, as we look at the markets being closed, our focus was swiftly, move towards resumption of domestic tourism. Yeah, I think every country is working on that. So for Sentosa, it's no different. While we work on domestic tourism, I think in my portfolio, I have the advantage of curating packages, not just for the domestic market, but thinking ahead, how can these packages also be applicable for the international markets? Yeah, and more so, how can some of these packages be applicable to the MICE delegates? Yeah, because I think a lot of the things that we have started to think about, for example, Sentosa Gems. People know Sentosa for its attractions, right? For its beaches. Yeah, but there are some hidden gems that, only during these 6 months, we started to discover. And we think that with this new introduction of these gems and, trialing it with our domestic market and testing the feedback, gives us the time to refine, to make it better, and then to make it part of the MICE experience when the market returns. And of course, having that advantage of rolling out all these packages to locals with the safe management measures in place, we already have so much experiences being on ground, seeing how tours are conducted, how many guides to how many delegates or how many guests. That helps us in not just curating and fine-tuning the packages, but also help us understand what kind of cost implication it can bring to any event organizers. Yeah, because I think as market resumes, cost may be something that they will be worried about. While they want to travel, the economy may be looking at, whether it's economical to travel in a large group, whether it makes sense since now a lot of meetings can be carried out virtually, why the need to travel? But I think what the message we want to bring to all our trade partners or even ourselves, right? Sometimes you really need to be there to experience it live. Yeah, some experiences needs to be enjoyed when we are there physically. Yeah, so that's really what we have been really busy with. Yeah, of course there are some things that we are planning ahead, like far ahead, like our master planning on building for the future. Yeah.
Right. Thank you, Jacqueline. That has been very, very expansive. In fact, I was planning to have a different question on safety, but you covered it all. And I want to say thank you. You did a great job. And we will now move on to Om. Om, we'd love to hear your views, from the event industry perspective, because that is where the most creative, just like Jacqueline was talking, the creative element is now going to, lead all those event companies which are innovative and creative are going to be able to take the lead in the years ahead. So let me talk to you about what do you think? Will hybrid events be the rule in the new norm, or do you feel that that's going to be other shape?
Yeah, before I answer that question, I want to just let you know of how sort of incredible the previous two perspectives were from Raymond as well as from Jacqueline. First of all, I will answer your question, but I think they're so inspiring. I mean, the depth to which Singapore Tourism Board has gone, and you could just feel it, the passion with which they do it. And I know they're the leaders all the time. And that's one of my favorite destinations. And I not to really sort of compliment them unnecessarily, but because they really are incredible, very inspiring. I'm very inspired listening to what Jacqueline had to say and about the creativity, etc. So it's kind of, I'm raring to jump into Singapore right up front as soon as the air routes open up, honestly speaking. That's number one. Coming to virtual events, yes, of course, everybody around the world had to get very creative. And like Raymond rightly said, you got to collaborate than to compete. And which is why we're working with partners from around the world. You've got creative people from Eastern Europe to within Germany to within India. So you're working with all kinds of people, and virtual has made it possible for you to get the best talent from around the world to produce the best, and not at the kind of pricing that we used to earlier spend before. So absolutely, it's been very creative. Yes, like Jacqueline rightly said, people are getting pretty kind of frustrated with virtual events because the attention span you have is very limited to maximum of about 2 hours, even if your content is very compelling. But having said that, the people who are speaking are really not able to meet eye to eye with the audiences that they're speaking with. The entertainers, the artists are not able to really see the responses of people. So the whole touch and feel, smell and taste is completely missing. And of course, we've done a lot of innovations to make sure that people are able to sort of consume content in a beautiful way with the limitation, yes. And of course, we worked with one of the biggest, diamond brands in the world just recently and did a massive event where every year we used to do an event for about 1,800 people physically. And now because we had to go virtually, some of the advantages that it threw up is that more than 10,000 people attended the event sitting from the comfort of their homes. So there are advantages and disadvantages with virtual events. But having said that, I would believe that it's going to be a hybrid approach for good. Things are never going to be the same again. And I would say, when people used to say BC, before Christ, and AD, I would say now BC is before Corona and post-Corona going forward. That's how it's going to be. And with that, I tell you, we will see physical events are here to stay. So what the clients are really resonating with is they say that instead of bringing 1,800 people to a venue, let me get the top 300 people. And the remaining people can consume my content and interact with us virtually, which means it will be a hybrid approach. You will have a physical and digital content going forward for good. That's what I believe it's going to be from a hybrid point of view. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, in the current scenario, what kind of events are you involved in? That tells us a little bit about the shape of the event industry.
Sure, sure. See, what's happening currently is because the corporates are being very cautious about the safety of their employees, their stakeholders. It's really crucial. Even if they feel very optimistic, they do not want to take a chance and just do things hastily. So therefore, we've been doing it just to inspire them. We've been doing a lot of work for SAP, for Microsoft, and for a whole lot of brands where we're doing a lot of family day events, inspiring them, getting people to get excited across the market, across the country. So for instance, Amazon is doing a talent hunt of sorts, just to make sure that people are excited while working from home. So, there's a whole process of celebrities, screening the contestants, the entries, and finally putting the top 20 or top 10 people to finally stage their performances. And people are watching them from their homes. And while we're doing these things, whether they're family days, they're product launches, brand launches, a whole host of events that are actually happening currently. But the beauty is, what we're doing is, listen, if you're going to be sitting from the comfort of your homes and watching the show, then may as well plug your systems onto the large television, get your popcorns in, switch on the best music systems and consume the content even better than you would otherwise from a laptop, right? And then of course you have the startups in India like Swiggy's and others where, at a certain time, food is delivered to their homes, hot, packed food. And that too not of just one restaurant or one star hotel's menu, but you have a choice of different outlets, standalone outlets from where you can choose and have the food being delivered to your places, or the best of coffee or best of beverages. So, events, I mean, we're doing all kinds of events and of all scales. And actually, we've done an event where 36 countries participated from their respective cities, watching the whole show. We've had people like Randy Zuckerberg speaking to us from New York. We've had Andre Agassi speaking from Las Vegas. We've had people, speaking from Leh, Ladakh, Sonam Wangchuk. And we've had all kinds of performers from around the world who've been part of these corporate events. And what was earlier a limitation in terms of pricing, as well as travel, time, accommodation, etc., people are just switching them on at the time that you want them to do it. You have one beautiful rehearsal and you're good to go for the door on the day of the show. So actually, there are lots of things that are throwing up, and if you look at a longer timeline, Kamal, is that I feel I'm personally pretty excited about this phase because it's kind of reset the planet. It's kind of reset all of us mentally to kind of appreciate what we have. It's healing the world a lot better. People are valuing relationships and friendships so much more than ever before. They value the air that you breathe and being safe. So I think it's a great phase, and like you rightly said, when it's not too far away when the COVID vaccine is going to be sort of discovered and distributed. And I'm telling you, once that is in, all our safety measures that we're trying to do right now to kind of save our industry, it's very well for now, for another year or so. But after that, it's going to be out of the window. People are going to go back to hugging people, high-fiving people, having a drink. And that's what the world is going to come back to eventually. So we simply need to be optimistic and kind of try and stay within, stay safe for the moment and be innovative and creative, as Jacqueline has been saying. And I think everybody's been getting creative. They say necessity is the mother of invention. And I think it made us invent all kinds of creative elements to kind of, reach people and discover people. So that's how life has been for me.
Thank you.
I mean, that's how it is. Yeah.
It seems that it is going to stay that way, considering that you are so innovative and seriously,
Thank you.
you're able to see past the obstacles, and that is what
Absolutely.
is required today. I'll go on to Kaushik. Kaushik, tell me a little bit about what type of MICE programs will you be planning post-COVID travel in 2021? What kind of group size are you looking at? What type of trip duration? How do you feel it's going to work out?
I think, typically we do smaller groups. We don't do larger groups. Our group size is typically between 50 to about 100. We often do these programs which are conference-led. So basically 2 days of conference followed by a day of local sightseeing and entertainment and so on. Currently, as most of our programs are normally organized between April and October every year. Unfortunately, this year we had made certain plans. However, we had to, switch them off, put them on hold because COVID somehow came somewhere early in the month of March. So this year, we have been largely doing activities and events through the, online digital platform. Interesting program that we are doing. In fact, we are doing our rewards and recognition programs every month. We are doing a musical soiree every month, getting a performer to come and sing. Typically our organization is about 9,500 people, and each of these musical soiree we are getting about 3,500 to 4,000 people to come and attend. They're asking for their favorite songs to be sang. Some of them are also pitching in. So these programs have been quite and it's a live streaming going on the social media platforms. Going forward, I think we would be expecting things to normalize. Even today I was reading somewhere that the first lot of vaccines will be available by Jan. And if that be the case, probably by quarter 3 of next financial year 21 is when we see that some of these MICE activities would start. Meanwhile, on a lower scale, much smaller activities we are doing in the within the country, in our cities, like few events we've done, small events in Bombay, a few events we've done in Calcutta and Delhi and so on. Those will continue. Those are small meetings, and so I feel going forward our numbers would remain something similar. Maybe it will be smaller because there's still a lot of fear and safety concerns. Singapore, of course, doesn't have much safety concerns. My own cousins stay there, so I keep chatting with them quite regularly. I've got friends who live there. In fact, there's one who's a doctor there. So Singapore doesn't have much concern, but however, I think things will take time to normalize. I feel by quarter 3, next festive season is when we will resume, and of course we would like to be back. We've been doing MICE activities in Singapore since 2010 every year, and there have been years when we had multiple groups. It's one of our favorite destinations. It's so close to India, and you have so much to explore there. So automatically we would also like to explore Singapore like some of the other countries nearby. So I see smaller groups. I see, like Om mentioned, a mix of, a lot of technology may also come in. And I do see that by quarter 3 of next financial year is that when we may be resuming the overseas trips.
Right. Thanks a lot. Kaushik, tell me something. In 2020, what kind of revival in terms of the MICE, in the virtual format? You mentioned songs. You mentioned people singing along, asking for their favorite songs, etc. Was music one of the major themes around which your MICE events took place in 2020?
So as I mentioned, we did 2 different things. One is the reward and recognition. We used to have a monthly reward and recognition program at our zonal and regional locations every month at the hotel, followed by, of course, cocktails and dinner. Those we are doing through virtual mode. And the music thing that has come up, in fact, we tried as a pilot in the month of May. It was such a hit that every month we are doing now. And, we are also getting people to, we are in fact planning to do regional stuff. Currently, we are doing mostly where people would sing Hindi songs and the likes. But there is a lot of demand from South now that Southern language, of course, is so different. So they are now saying that why don't we do regional stuff for our regional teams, which we are absolutely okay with, and we'll explore that.
Right. Raymond, I was just thinking, this is a point of view that could be, very well incorporated in some of your schemes and plans, the love for music.
Right.
Yeah. I thought that's why I was asking, that if in 2020, this is the theme, in a manner of speaking, because it touches people's hearts. It's something that Jacqueline could put, because she's also curating tours and she's curating the MICE activities. And this could be an insight that, okay, this is something that I think probably globally, or what do you think? Globally also, the theme would be music in 2020?
No, music, of course, is the universal language and it'll never fail. I mean, that's going to be our underlying sort of foundation for anything that we do. Yeah, but I think it's a great thought because we have kind of created our own album, a certain single called "Love to Humanity," which you guys are going to be able to see. I'll share the link with you soon. And I think music really unifies. And I think right now, empathy, I think discovery. I think people want to do that, and I think each country, each region will have their own little thing to sort of take from. But I think music is a beautiful suggestion. Yeah, absolutely. It's a beautiful suggestion. Yeah, absolutely.
Kamal, I'll also add, the first one that we did, we call this event Tarang. So the first one we did, we had the musician playing karaoke. So there was demand that in the next event, we need live music. So from the next program onwards, we had live musicians also there. And it's such a hit, I can't tell you.
Fantastic, fantastic. In terms of safety and events in Singapore, Om, you have done events in Singapore before.
Absolutely.
Can you share one particular event that was absolute, just, gives an insight, just like Kaushik says, this is a theme, one event which went off beautifully in Singapore?
Yeah, there have been many. I mean, we've used the Swissotel, the Stanford to the Sentosa itself. But one of the events that I can cite is there's a brand called Titan, which is one of the largest, conglomerates. I mean, Tata Group. It's a part of the Tata Group, and we'd used Sentosa in literally staggered manner. We've had sort of check-ins of 800 people one day, another 800 people the next day. So it went on for about four days. And through it all, it was such an intense event because it had a lot of entertainment, it had theatrics, it had gardeners, it had conferences, it had a lot going on. And I can tell you, my personal experience was, obviously the clients loved it. And Singapore, people work with their heart. While they're so process-oriented, they have a heart. You request them for something, they're willing to sort of accommodate. And it's not very easy, especially when you have Indian audiences going anywhere in the world. And kind of to accommodate them, beat their preferences of food, or wanting to get their drinks a little longer than the stipulated time, or wanting to party a little harder, waking up a little. So there are these practical challenges that they've beautifully dealt with from a interpersonal relationship perspective. They mean business, they know what to do and what not to do, but at the same time, they're willing to go that extra mile in a very polite way and still kind of get things done. So we've had a great experience. It's called the Business Associate Meet for Titan that we've done. And of course, great audiences, lovely people. They're traders of jewelry and watches, etc. So that's one of those examples. Of course, we've done things for 3M at other places. But Singapore has honestly been pretty close to my heart, also because my wife used to be with Singapore Airlines, and I sort of snatched her away from the beautiful Singapore Airlines and brought her to my city, Bangalore. And I think Singapore is special. And I guess everybody loves Raymond, like the television series go.
Raymond, yes.
Certainly needs more oomph in the new.
It needs more oomph with an om,
And just to add that Sentosa being outside of the mainland of Singapore, I think things to be done a little bit more creative than how it's
that's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, the passion that Jacqueline has, the passion with which Jacqueline spoke, I'm telling you, I could feel it. It was palpable.
Yeah,
it's an island. It's on its own. So many things they can get around with a lot of things in a more creative way than what you can actually achieve in mainland. Yes.
We love the passion.
Yeah, absolutely.
We love the passion made possible, spirit that Singaporean have, everything we do, is doing it with passion. Yeah. So that's why.
But you never mentioned about the hidden gems.
Yeah, the hidden gems we'll have to discover. The other thing about it is I take it from what Kaushik has already said, I think the world is going to see more of quality than quantity in the MICE space.
Absolutely.
It's a clear the space for you. You'll be able to differentiate between chalk and cheese. You will get cheese, which is nice and juicy and more, more what do I say, profitable than to just look at larger formats.
And because right now, the reasons we must find even better reasons to entice a person to go overseas for a business travel. And we all know that, like you said, maybe the top 300 among the big groups will actually be going overseas. And therefore, the requirements will be higher, expectations will higher, and the value that you offer to the group has to be a few notches higher than what it is previously. So it is really a time for venue owners, intermediaries to really come together to make sure that the best value is being offered to those who are now traveling on a higher budget.
That's right.
You're addressing their fears, so when they reach there, entertainment must be top notch.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And I also think that, you know, as the travel opens and these top-notch people starts to travel, they are going to be our advocates. You know, they will see how things are done, and they will bring back, you know, how Singapore has done things, you know, correctly, safely, and assured in a very assured way, you know. So I think it's a great opportunity, you know, for us to hone our skills, even, you know, upgrading our skill set, even in the service sector. How do we achieve service excellence, you know, in this? I think there's just opportunities to be discovered during this period,
Yeah, so it should be discovery, should be the key word here. Raymond, would you like to make some closing remarks before we close today with this fabulous panel discussion? I predicted before we started that this is going to be really good, and it has been. So before, you know, I say a big thank you, Raymond, would you like to make a closing remark?
Before I make a closing remark, Jacqueline, we have two very big advocates here, so we must make sure that they come.
Absolutely.
When travel resumes, they are our big advocates.
Yes, they are going to be on my speed dial. You know?
Yes. Not so much of a closing remarks, but really thank you, Kama and team, for bringing us all together. I'm sure whatever we spoke about, even though it's with regards to Singapore, I think a lot of these points that we discussed are actually applicable to every businesses, every destinations. And like I said, in the new norm, collaborations is the new competition. We all learn from each other, and we need to work even much closer than before, and more creative than ever. Right. So before I end, I just want to wish all the listeners, everybody who tune in, happy Diwali, and a blessed year ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Raymond. I would like to say a big thank you, Jacqueline, Om, Kaushik, Raymond. Without you, we couldn't have done this. And thank you again for a fabulous panel discussion. That's going to be the new norm any which way. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Here's the more oomph. Here's the more oomph. That's right.
That will be your new tagline for your company.
Yep.
That's right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Another one from Singapore. Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Happy Diwali, everyone.
Bye.
Happy Diwali. Bye.
Bye.